You're listening to Double Time, your daily accessible technology show. Now, here's your hosts, Steven Scott and Shaun Preece.
Hey, Shaun Preece, how are you?
Bemused, Steven Scott. What are you laughing about?
I'm just laughing at the fact that just before we started, I told myself to shut up. I mean, that really tells you all you have to know about today and where I'm at.
Saved me a job. Anyway, well done. Happy Monday to you, sir.
I thought I'd just jump right in on your behalf today. Thought I'd help you out with it. How was your weekend?
It was very good, actually. I did a lot of testing of wearables, smart glasses. I had a lot of fun. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You're not going to give anything away then?
You know what? I was testing out the Envision, as I said last week. I'm testing out the Envision glasses. Firstly, they are weird. I mean, the actual device itself with that big right arm, which is massive with all the tech in it, and those little wire frames that they have. They feel strange, but I wasn't sure about them. But wearing them, they're absolutely fine. They're quite comfy, in fact. But I did notice that I am running the 2023 pass, meaning that the features I have access to on this particular set is 2023. So there have been upgrades, there's been improvements that I haven't been able to try yet. So I'm not going to say too much about them because I'm running older software, basically.
Yeah, so you're feeling maybe you're not getting the most up-to-date experience.
Yeah, well, it seems unfair to judge them on old software when, the latest ones may be completely different. Honestly, I don't know yet. So I'm still testing them.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's loads of cool stuff, coming up. I mean, recently, as we mentioned, Envision have announced this new Ally feature. We're going to learn more about this week, actually. We're talking to Karthik Karnan from Envision. We're recording with him tomorrow, actually, on Tuesday. So we'll get that interview on air very soon. And it will give you a sense of what's going on over at Envision. And maybe we can ask if we can get some kind of pass to let you test out some new features as well. That'd be nice.
Oh, we'll definitely ask because it does cost €199 for a pass, by the way. So,
well, I'm kind of glad you brought this up. I'm glad you've been looking into this. I mean, if only there was a way to investigate this information. If only there was some kind of route to this information that was
internet,
simple.
I think it's called.
Yeah, if there was anything like that, but there's nothing. There's just nothing out there. So as a result, we have to just wait for you to do it and forge the path ahead.
Well, when you buy the Envision glasses, you get obviously a pass for the year that you bought them in, and also the following year. So if you bought them in 2022, you would have got all the features for 2022.
Yeah. And
then any updates or upgrades for 2024 as well, you would also get. Then the following years after that, you need to pay again. Now, all the features that you currently have, they don't go away, so you can still use them. It means that you don't get the new updates in the future. It's a bit like the Jules and the SMAs used to work, I think.
I think the difference, though, is, and I think this is quite good about what Envision have done here, they're saying, look, it's an optional thing. You can opt in to these updates. You don't have to necessarily spend the money every year in order for the glasses to continue to function. They will support the glasses whether you get the update or not. I think that's good, actually, because a lot of people may not have the money to do that kind of upgrade once a year. And they may say, do you know what? I don't want that feature. So it's kind of like an opt-out option, which I think is actually pretty smart. But we'll get more details from Karthik Karnan. He's going to be talking to us soon from Envision. We're going to do a bit of an update with him because there's so much news circulating about wearables and all the rest. So maybe a good time for a bit of a reset here. Because look, let's be totally honest about it. We've said this to Karthik when he's been on before. Envision glasses, as in Google Glass, which is what they're running on, are dead. I mean, they're finished. Discontinued, gone, no new hardware coming, at least certainly not at the moment. I mean, there's talk at the moment of Google and Samsung working together, not on TalkBack, but we'll get to that. That's another conversation coming up this week. But yeah, Google and Samsung apparently are working on a new project to create smart glasses of some kind. Don't know what those are yet, but
there's so many different startups out there, smart glasses, because of what?
I don't think Google and Samsung are startups. I mean, they are.
No. But I'm just saying, in general, smart glasses are going to become the next growth industry because of where AI is going. People are seeing, especially when the vision side of it comes through. We're not just talking.
Yeah, but
we're not talking specialist tech anymore. We're talking mainstream.
This might be an unfortunate time, though, as well, because it's going to be the big players who are going to get the traction here. I mean, some companies may benefit from being bought up by the big companies or not, as some companies sometimes say. It depends on how you view that. I know different people have different views on this, but I think at the end of the day in this market, it is going to be down to a few companies to come up with the solutions. A lot are going to go by the wayside. But that's, I think, the kind of price of this, the price of innovation is that, companies the good ones will succeed and be bought up by the bigger players. And let's be honest, it's going to be Apple and Google who really come up with the next big product in this space. And I think both of them, and Meta, Meta are in it as well. Of course, they're already in it. And I think what Meta have done is kind of inadvertently gone ahead of even Apple with the Vision Pro. Because look, with the best will in the world, Apple's Vision Pro is not a consumer device for most people. It's just way out of reach for too many people. It's not going to be the thing that's going to take on. But they're not
the same thing, right? We're talking visuals with that.
That's right. But, well, look, that's how it's going to be. And I don't mind that. I don't mind having a pair of glasses that have visuals in them. I mean, look, Google Glass had visuals in it. I mean, okay, granted, it was a bit more basic in comparison to what's available today. But, it had visuals as well. I don't care about that. As long as everything is spoken, everything is able to be spoken, and everything's accessible to me as a blind guy. That's all I'm interested in.
Yeah.
So if in Google Glass, for example, and I don't know if this was an Envision thing that they activated this, but you can turn the visuals off on Google Glass. You don't have to have them on.
Yes, that's right. Good. And when we're saying visuals, we're talking a tiny, tiny screen in the top right. It's a bit like the notification LED on the Meta glasses. There's one on the inside, apparently. I mean, I have no idea, but it's the same sort of thing.
It is a screen. You can actually see.
It is a line of text.
Information. Yeah, exactly. That's right. I mean, it's like a Nokia phone inside your head.
Yes.
Nokia 3310, I should say. But very basic. But it was a start. It was the beginnings of something, and like all of this tech. But anyway, we'll be interested to see what Envision come up with. Look, lots also to talk about today because there's a lot going on. OpenAI last week announced I think 3 new models, 3 new language models, which they're calling reasoning models. The first of which is called O1, or is it 1.0? I can't really work out which one it is, but O1 I think it is what it's called. This is, of course, following on ChatGPT 4. They're moving into O1, I guess, is the next iteration here. And this is, how can we explain this? Well, look, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do something I don't normally do. I'm going to play some audio from another podcast.
What?
Which will, I know this is shocking, but I found it easier. If I get someone else to explain it, it's so much simpler. So let's play this audio in from this podcast, and we'll get a sense here of what OpenAI's announcement meant.
Okay, so AI junkies, listen up, because OpenAI just dropped something massive, and this is not your typical software update. No, sir. This is a whole new series of reasoning models, they're calling it. And they're kicking it off with something called O1.
Yeah, this is a big deal.
Big time. And you know what's got everyone freaking out? It's not just about generating text like we've seen before.
Yeah.
This is about solving problems, like actually figuring things out in a way that has everyone saying, hold up, did AI just get a whole lot smarter?
It's true.
And for those of you in the know, and let's face it, you are, because you're here, OpenAI is so pumped about that they're even changing how they're naming these things. That's how big of a deal this is. So buckle up, because we're diving deep into why this is so groundbreaking. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right. So we're talking OpenAI's announcement of their new series of reasoning models, starting with O1. We're breaking it all down for you today.
And what's really got my gears turning is how OpenAI is really hitting this reasoning angle hard. We're not talking about AI that just spits back the first answer it finds. This O1 is built to actually think before it acts.
Okay, so I'm just going to cut in there because, obviously that's another podcast, but they're kind of explaining, I think, really well how this is working. So essentially we're talking here about, as it says, reasoning. So are we talking here, like, for example, if we fed this a crossword puzzle, or I've heard Wordle being used as an example if you're playing along. Is that essentially what we're talking about here?
It seems to be, because so many people have been saying, I don't notice a difference. I mean, what's so groundbreaking about this? And yet I've seen other people say, try playing along with it, with Wordle or doing a crossword or something like that. Then you will see where the reasoning comes in. Because actually what they said on the podcast there was absolutely true. If you've got a student who just remembers that 2 and 2 equal 4, they don't reason or know why it does. They just seen it somewhere and they memorize it. That's kind of where AI is. It's seen it somewhere, it regurgitates it. Whereas this actually knows how to do that. It's like doing math with information. This can reason to an answer. Sounds very impressive.
Now, you might notice I haven't mentioned the name of the podcast yet, and that's obviously very, that's bad of me.
Yes.
I should mention the name of the
Terrible
podcast. The only
person.
problem is it doesn't actually have a name, because what you've just listened to was not a podcast. It was AI-generated audio.
Was that reasoned podcasting? That was, okay, I would not have known that.
That was not a single human voice in there.
Okay.
Entirely AI generated.
Okay, did you put that together? I mean, that was, the voices were great. I would not have known that was AI. I mean, it sounded very good. I thought it was a very professional podcast, but I didn't.
I thought it was Leo Laporte from Twits,
Yes.
from This Week in Tech. I thought that was him.
Very
I was
deep
convinced
voice.
at first.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, this is actually because of another AI creation from Google this time round. And this one's called NoteBookLM. And what it allows you to do is upload information. So, you might have taken copious notes like we did during the iOS or Apple events,
Yes.
talking about, Apple's hardware and iOS 18 and whatever else. And, we've put copious notes together for the iOS 18 accessibility review, available right now on doubletaponair.com. You can go check it out. But you could take all those notes and you give that raw information, literally just, bullet point information, give it to NoteBookLM, and that is what it creates. It turns it into a podcast with hosts, conversational,
No.
different people.
You know what
we
I'm
are
thinking?
screwed.
Yes, we are out of a job. I mean, that
We're
was
finished.
that was fantastic.
Well, hang on. The upside is,
Yes.
I don't believe it is spitting out nonsense, ranting,
yeah.
and being incoherent.
Yes, and talking about chicken constantly. Yes, we are safe because artificial
We're fine.
intelligence.
Not artificial stupidity.
That's not us. Artificial idiocy. When that comes out, we're in trouble. Wow.
Yeah.
No, joking aside, that is really good. And that could be so useful. I mean, the difference between arrowing through and listening to information with your screen reader against listening to something presented like that, it could be really useful to some people. I mean, a lot of people would prefer to get their information in that way, right?
Isn't that amazing? I mean, when you listen to that, at first I'm thinking, because I listened to it, I had no idea that this was a made-up thing. I didn't realize we were that far ahead. I mean, I kind of know we're there because I've heard examples of, for example, radio dramas. In fact, we played them on the show months ago, maybe years ago. I remember us playing an excerpt from a radio drama, which was entirely AI generated.
Yeah.
However, at that time, the tone, the empathy and the voices, all that stuff, that was all created.
Yes.
Essentially someone was building that. They were getting the raw voice and they were adding in the element of shock and horror and surprise
that had
and sadness.
post-production. Yes.
Exactly. This is just raw. So
That's impressive.
I think this is going to be very interesting.
Now, look, admittedly, we didn't listen to a whole lot of it there. And I'm sure if we listened to the entire thing, you would have gone, oh, wait a minute. Now something doesn't sound quite right. And, you do get little tells there. This is AI. But still, I thought that was great. Is this a free service from Google?
So far, yes. I'm sure it will be paid at some point. But right now, for testing purposes, it's free. And of course, they'll no doubt be using what we throw into this as training data, because that's how it ultimately works. But, I do think this is quite interesting. And I think it kind of points to a new world of the way we consume. I mean, I just, it kind of part terrifies me, if I'm honest, because we kind of joke around a lot about how AI is coming for our jobs.
Yeah.
And then you hear that and you think...
But now it's coming for our jobs, so now we're worried. No.
So hang on. So everything we're saying someone else could make sound better. That makes me nervous.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. It's, again, with AI, there's no clear answer, right? There's so many benefits to it, but also the impact. I don't know. We just don't know how it's going to impact yet.
And I think with AI, especially in our world, with disability, I think there's a lot of us who tend to get wrapped up in, and I think rightly to some degree, we get wrapped up in the benefits. We see what it can do for image descriptions for us. We can see what it can do for scene description. We all know about the video. We've talked about it so many times from Be My Eyes, talking about what's coming down the line with, this visual model from OpenAI when it launches, and, Be My Eyes being able to hail a cab, because it can see the cab coming. It can tell the red light is on, or whatever the color of the taxi light is, orange light, whatever it is. That I think is incredible. We see the benefits massively. And I think sometimes we can get clouded by that. I think we get clouded by all the benefits that we tend to overlook the dangers or park the dangers because let's not get off message in a sense. Let's not get off message here.
Yes.
But I think we have to be able to look at this from both sides. We have to have an adult conversation about this. There are a lot of jobs that are going to go by the wayside. And look, let's be honest about it. There aren't a lot of disabled people in work at the moment as it is. So, how do you solve this problem? How do we get around this? I think I don't know the answer. I'm not going to get into it today, but I'm putting it out there because I think you have to balance this to some degree. It's all very well jumping up and down and saying AI is amazing, and then you find yourself out a job. I mean, look at the website designers who the sort of. I'm not talking big companies, but individuals who've been building a website for a local company for years, or maybe they've helped out local businesses building their websites. Now they can just jump onto GPT and say, "Build me a website. I've drawn a picture of it. Here's what it looks like.
Yes.
Picture of a house with words on it. Drawn like a child." And suddenly it's a website, and you think, "Oh my God, that's exactly what businesses want." And they're going to be
yes.
And there are people, I know people who've had,
but that's going to be a benefit
their business
to some people and a disadvantage to other people, right? Technology always changes society at some point, whether it's the combustion engine or whatever it may be, the Industrial Revolution.
I think this is bigger. I think it's bigger than all of that.
This is going to have impact in far more many areas of our life. There's no denying that. But, I think people will adapt.
I think the phrase I had was, it's like being a horse trader in Detroit in 1905. I think your chances are you've got some problems ahead of you. But yeah, I mean, look, I'm also equally as excited. And it's funny because I always think back to that conversation we had ages ago where we kind of had that AI dilemma conversation of where do we stand on this.
Yes.
I don't think my position's massively changed. I see the dangers. Interestingly, though, one area that I thought I'd see more problems, and maybe we will soon, I don't know, but I thought I'd see more danger around deep fakes and, especially around elections that are coming up, and one particular one in the US. And I thought I'd see a lot more concern there. To be honest, it seems as if, how can I say this delicately? It seems as if the candidates can do a decent enough job of screwing it for themselves. So I don't think we have to worry too much about AI on that front. AI can't quite keep up with
I am
that,
seeing more and more deep fakes, though. And I think we saw one recently which was taken seriously for some governor somewhere where, it's the AI, it's the faked AI where it's meant to be recorded off mic and it's sort of maybe a phone call where it sounds so real because it sounds so not produced. That's where I worry because how do you tell? You can't tell what's real anymore.
I think that what's the sense is usually that it's going to hit the big politicians or the big stars hardest. I actually think it's not those people. I think it's people like you and I, people who are just everyday people who do our jobs, who do what we do, and then someone creates something that could essentially destroy that person's career. Because it's harder for someone who doesn't have lawyers and people behind them and tons of money to fight it to go after it. It's easier to destroy someone who doesn't have anything.
That's true.
And I think that's the problem. So it's not I don't worry so much about the Brad Pitts of this world or the politicians. I mean, I know they'll be targeted, but they have people, they have teams, they have resources to fight this. It's everyday people that don't, and it's very quickly you can destroy someone just by chucking a voice into 11 Labs. That's terrifying to me.
Well,
so there has to be some regulation here. There has to be something. I think regulation. I know that people don't like when I say this, but and I hate endless government overreach into our lives. But there has to be, on the whole, I think, regulation. And the problem is, governments are not good at keeping up with this stuff. They're just not.
No.
They don't move at the speed. And look at the speed of development.
To be fair,
when we started talking about this to now, it is so quick.
Yes. And to be fair to governments, I mean, it's incredibly difficult to keep up with this stuff. So, it's something we're going to have to face, and we will do if we like it or not.
Anyway, I've got my own problems. Yeah, look,
it's Owenie time.
See this dog? I tell you, it is costing me a fortune He is costing me a fortune.
What's happened now?
So I put out this tweet. The irony is just too much. So I put out a tweet or a Mastodon toot or post, whatever they call it over there. And I said, right, decision made by the Double Tap team. We're not buying anything new this year. Not buying a new iPhone. If Apple want to send me a new iPhone, that's nice. But I'm not buying one. And I'm not buying a new watch. And I'm not buying new AirPods. I'm not buying any of that stuff because to me, look, I've got the 15 Pro, which Apple very kindly sent over. You've got the Pro Max Apple sent you.
Yes.
And unless they ask for it back, which I think they might,
Yes.
Then I don't know what I'll use because then I'll be on Android full time. So I don't have a replacement phone. Yeah, can't wait for that G54. So yeah, I'm thinking, I'm not going to buy anything new because, to be perfectly honest, I mean, other than the camera button, which is nice, I can't really see the value at this point in making the upgrade. I mean, my wife's got the 13 Pro, and I said to her the other day, would you like, if I upgrade, would you like, the 15 Pro? Would you?
Yes.
And she's like, no, I don't. She's my phone's fine. Great battery. The Pro Max is what she's got. It was my old 13 Pro Max. The battery in this thing, it just never dies.
Oh, look.
It just doesn't die.
I always thought, why would I pay the extra money for Pros? I just didn't see the value in it. But since having this one, the battery, that's more than enough reason for me. The battery is amazing.
Just lasts forever.
Don't have to worry about it.
And that's the 13. So we're talking 3 generations back, still going strong, still no hassles, no sluggishness, nothing. And okay, iOS 18 is launched today, and that's great. And of course, people will be rushing to download that. I mean, I don't think my wife will. I'm not even sure I want to. I kind of do, and I kind of don't.
Of course you will. I'll be there at 6 o'clock our time.
Of course
Settings,
I'll be doing it.
General software update.
Waiting. I mean, I was even tempted last night to put the public beta on just to get ahead.
Me too.
Just to
I was thinking
about and I thought, nah, I'm not doing that. But, the only one, I'll be honest, the only one I'm not upgrading is the Mac. The macOS Sequoia update is also coming out today, and I'm really tempted, but the Mac is different because there are so many applications that if they don't work, I am stuffed. And I can't do any work.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I'm not as keen. And, it's one thing with an iPhone, and I'd say to anybody, and I've said this every year, if you have an iPhone and you rely on it every day, and you rely on VoiceOver, I think I will say that iOS 18 is probably the best upgrade we've had in a long time. Going by what I've seen from the bug reports and people talking about, there are issues, but it's nothing. There's no showstoppers, let's just put it that way.
I'm running it on an iPhone 11 and it's been absolutely fine.
It's fine, right? It's a pretty decent and fairly seamless upgrade this year, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
But if you rely on that phone, I'd wait a month.
Oh, yeah.
I would just wait a month, just in case. And if you're upgrading and you think Apple Intelligence is what it's what it's all about, bear in mind, you're only going to get this in US English in October. And in countries outside of that, Canada, the UK, that's December. In localized English. I mean, of course, you can change your settings to US English. You can get it in October if you want. But if you don't want to do that and you want to wait for your localized version, you're going to have to wait to December. So again, what's the point of buying the 16s at this point? Now, I know there's some unique features. And for the audiophiles amongst us, you might think, well, there's some real benefits there. And I'm talking here to blind people, right? So,
Yes.
Okay, I know the rest of you might want the fancy cameras and all the rest, although frankly, there's no difference. But anyway, whatever.
There is a difference. Look, hang on.
There's no difference at all. All cameras are the same.
Let me cut you off because we're talking about upgrading.
Silence me.
No, I am doing. I'm cancelling you. I'm talking about upgrading here. Yeah, from a 15 to a 16.
Waiting for someone to do it.
Every year you could say the same thing. What's the difference? But, I mean, should we judge it by that? Anyway, I saw an interesting video from Linus Tech Tips making the same point. He got absolutely pillared for being positive about the iPhone 16. But the point he was making is, well, let's just look at it on its own merit. Let's look at it as a phone. It's a good phone. Isn't that all you need? We're always looking at it as, okay, should I update from my previous phone? And I don't think that's always a good way.
No, but I think there's a FOMO thing. I think there's a FOMO thing. And also there's a fear that people are not going to get access. So, I mean, iOS 18 is going to be supported from the iPhone SE second generation all the way up.
Yes.
So you'll be able to get, if you've got an 11... if you've got, I can't remember the list now. There was a list, but I can't remember how far back it went. I know it went back to the iPhone SE second generation.
XR?
I think the XR. I don't think the 8 gets it. I think the 8's
I wouldn't have
fallen
thought
off.
so. No,
But yeah, I think
it
you're right. I
doesn't
think from the
matter.
XR
No
onwards.
one's interested in iOS 18. They're interested in Apple Intelligence, and for that case,
No, I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. I think, yeah, I mean, look, we're interested in Apple Intelligence. I don't think most people could care less.
Oh, at the minute. But you wait until people start seeing the AI-powered Siri, and let's hope it is so much better. Yeah. Then everyone's going to say, I want that. I need that.
But people, I think most people think that, can my phone get this update? And if they can't get the update, that's when they need to upgrade their phone. Now, the point I'm making is that actually, and it's quite quiet, Apple don't really announce this, but you can get this update on a wide range of phones. And I think that's something that doesn't get shouted about enough. Apple won't shout about it because they want you to buy new phones. But But I do like the fact that they are supported on such a wide range of devices.
Yes, but not Apple Intelligence on that same list of devices.
Who cares?
Everyone will care.
Wait for the 17. Okay. Wait for the seriously. If you want Apple Intelligence, I'd wait for iPhone 17. That's what I would do.
Okay.
I wouldn't even bother with the 16.
We need to see the rollout.
Because by the time it's fully fledged and the time it's useful and the time it's really great, the new phone will be out and everyone will be saying, "We should wait until we got the 17." I'm telling you now. I've told you so.
No,
I'm telling you now.
Stop. We've gone off on a tangent. Tell us about Owenie.
What was I saying? Oh, yeah.
Owenie news about 5 minutes ago. Yes.
After the announcement that I had made on Mastodon, literally 10 minutes after, my wife says to me, as I hear shrieking in the house, she says, "Where are your AirPods? How many were in the case?" And I said, "Well, there should be 2.
Yes.
Unless Apple have changed that as well. But I don't think they have a 3-ear version.
Not yet.
So there should be 2. And she said, "Well, they're both gone." And I'm thinking, oh no.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the case was there.
The case, yeah. Thankfully, that had survived. With teeth marks, obviously.
Yes.
Because, that's part of the deal. He's teething at the moment, you see. That's the problem with all this. He's teething.
Or he just wanted to listen to some music.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That's right. Ingesting my AirPods Pro 2, by the way. The Pro 2. I'm getting all excited about this new update. This will be cool. I can't wait for the head gestures, and I can't wait for... I wasn't expecting we need stomach gestures, which clearly you do.
Did they come out again? Let's not forget, Owenie recently ate, was it 4 socks and a teddy bear's head?
Yeah, I know he did.
And had to have an operation.
So, yes, he got a big operation. Thankfully, they both came out. I will not give you the details, but they returned, shall we say. They were returned.
So they're back in your ears right now?
Definitely not. They are gone. I am not...
I'll have them.
I know people might say...
I'm not proud.
Listen, mate, you can have them. If you want them, you can have them. But I am not putting that anywhere near my ears.
Wow.
So, yeah, they're gone. But
Owenie's all right. You know what, Steven Scott? Fine. I'm going to blame you. I mean, if you've not puppy-proofed your surroundings yet, you can't leave anything out.
Clearly, yeah, I know. I can't leave anything lying around. Even on my office desk, it would appear.
He's a tech geek.
Do you know what it is? I'm actually, in a way, I was kind of not sure to be annoyed with them or happy with them because I had the Lightning version and obviously the new USB-C version.
Oh, there's an excuse.
Maybe there's an opportunity here.
He's your wingman.
I'm missing. I try and see the positives.
And he's also had your Metas again, I hear. So
had a go of those as well. So a couple more bite marks into those. Still working though.
Can I just say, Meta Raybans, the WhatsApp feature is now working for me again.
Hooray!
I updated over the weekend. There was a update to the MetaView app, and first thing I tried out was making a video call with WhatsApp. Worked perfectly. I had one of my daughters guide me through so many cars parked on the pavement. It was driving me crazy, and I was in a rush, so I just did a WhatsApp call, and it was perfect. I'm so happy about that.
I mean, how good is that, right? I mean, again, if you can Be My Eyes on there. I know Ira's on there. Remember that? Ira, you can get on WhatsApp glasses as well, or on Meta glasses.
WhatsApp glasses. They kind of
WhatsApp
are.
glasses. Yeah, they are.
Well, in beta.
That's pretty cool. So hang on. Did you get yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's a beta. Did you get a version number of that? Because I know version 8.0 came out for the
you know what?
app.
I am totally lost with the version numbers. No, I didn't. There seems to have been about 4 versions over the last week. So, yeah, whatever's the latest version, that should sort you out. And they've labeled those unlabeled buttons in the communication settings as well.
Beautiful.
So,
well, that's a good sign. It was interesting because there was an update to Mona app for the iOS, and there was all kinds of issues there. It was like it almost gone a little bit X in the way they couldn't get access to any of the messages, and information was being read out. Within 2 hours they had an update out and fixed. Good for them.
Well, that's amazing.
That's the way to do it.
Actually,
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, look, things are going to happen, right? Mistakes are going to happen, issues are going to happen, but the fact is, it's all about the response.
Yeah.
And there's a fantastic app, and they really do listen to us in the community. So when someone reports, they listen, and clearly they act. So, actions, not words. Don't start me on that again.
Well done.
Right. Let's move on, because before we get to emails, I want to get to this. App of the week.
Oh.
Well, I say that. I think we need to rename this because it doesn't make any sense.
No.
We're talking about a range of... This is a terrible idea.
Okay. Well done, Stephen. Why was it a terrible idea?
Well, the name's a terrible idea. I don't like the name.
Oh, no.
App of the week. It's pathetic.
You know what?
It doesn't mean anything.
We turn to our listeners for naming of the double tap plant. Maybe they can name the
Bob.
app segment, what we're going to call this, because it's not going to be every week. It's not going to be every day. It's going to be as and when. But what are we going to call this? Favorite apps? Useful apps? I don't know.
Yes. Well, hang on. I'm just thinking something here.
What?
Just totally aside this. Maybe you should get another plant. Because you know how we get Bob, right? And everyone, and there was a bit of a fight between Bob and Perkins.
Yeah.
Or Robert.
I thought we
and
decided Perkins,
to be precise.
didn't we?
Well, we kind of did, but Bob also was the
people's
listener's choice.
Yes.
We're kind of going against
Okay,
democracy
Bob it is.
here.
Yes, Bob.
So I'm wondering if we get another plant and call it Perkins.
Okay, and
Anyway, what we're talking
the
about?
value for that is the app of the week.
Well, because we get two plants and you can name them.
Okay.
Perkins and Bob. Perky and Bob.
Let us know a name
Bob
for
and
the
Perky.
app segment. Feedback at doubletaponair.com.
I don't like app of the week. That's terrible.
Okay.
Because look, the whole point of this segment is that you get the chance, not you, but our dear listener gets the chance to have a say in apps and tell us what you're using and do all that stuff. So, and we might do it more than once a week. That's my point, right?
Yep.
So, and more than one app. So it's wrong on both counts.
It is.
Apps of the weeks.
No, apps. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Weekly apps. Apps. Why are we even mentioning
Let's not
weekly?
workshop this on air.
Yeah,
We'll figure it out.
Just you guys figure it out between you. You're in charge of this. You can figure it out. You're far more intelligent than we are. Right. First up, I want to get to, because we've got loads of people here suggesting theirs. We've got Dave, Greg, and Jenin are going to be putting forward their ideas today. Dave is first up. He wants to talk about the Brave browser.
Hey, Steven and Shaun. I've been a big fan of your Double Tap podcast for a while now.
Oh,
Your
thank you.
insights and tips for the blind and visually impaired community are invaluable. I want to share an app that might be of interest to your listeners, Brave Browser. This web browser is designed to block ads, making it a great option for those who want to enjoy ad-free YouTube videos. I've found it particularly helpful for reducing visual distractions and improving my overall browsing experience. You can download Brave Browser from the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. I hope this information is helpful. Keep up the great work. Best, David from Peterborough in England.
Thank you, David. I love that. Love that. Brave browser. I've never tried this one, and I've heard a lot of people talk about it.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of people rave about this. It's one I've never tried. I'm always slightly wary about blocking ads when it comes to YouTube because they're really cracking down on that now. And they may just shut out Brave browser from accessing it at all. But while it works, why not? Yeah.
Well, our good friend Robin gave me a bit of an update at the weekend. The accessible YouTube, is it Accessible YouTuber Download Pro or something like that?
Accessible YouTube Downloader Pro. Yeah.
That one.
You were close.
Just close enough. It's a great app, and it was allowing people to easily access YouTube and also download videos, right? So that's got, we're on YouTube now. So I'm going to be careful here, right? Because, I don't want to upset the YouTube people. But, this was an app which was making it a lot easier for people to be able to consume videos. But apparently now, watching the videos is not happening now. It's not allowing you to watch the videos on this app. But you can listen in audio, which is kind of cool. So you can select audio as your way of consuming, and that will allow you to do that. But it kind of suggests what I kind of feared.
That's what we said all along.
I hope we weren't the reason for it.
No,
but,
they are really
sound...
cracking down on that. And, you could argue rightfully so. It's how they make their money. So
I said this before, and I implore these app developers not to try and circumvent, but work with. I love that app. But if you just made it possible for me to sign into my YouTube account or my premium account,
Yes.
first off, I'd be able to access my history. I can watch content back. You know, I am struggling at the minute with loads of you are sending in your comments on YouTube, and I'm trying to find an accessible, or it's not an inaccessible way of doing it. It is accessible.
Yeah, but a way
Getting
that
around
works
the
with
comments,
our
but
workflow, right? It's
you want something simpler, you know? It's
Yeah.
like going through the web interface and then trying to get to, you know, each video we're posting and all the comments you're leaving is fantastic. But I want a way to be able to contribute to that and interact with that more easily and you know, efficiently.
yes.
This word is coming up a lot in our world at the moment, and efficiently is a way I want to be able to do this. So an app like that could make that possible, because it's not just about consumption, it's about creation as well. So, you know, if accessible download YouTube
Pro.
whatever Pro, if that was able to build in that premium essentially, or that ability to connect to my account in the premium and so on, and also allow me to access and respond to comments as a channel, as a creator, as a whatever, I think that would be really cool. So, you know, there's great potential here. And, you know, take the word download out of the title, because I think you might be, you know, I think you might be ruining the experience for other people.
The
as a result of
accessibility
that.
should be the main thing here.
Yeah, exactly.
A more
Accessing
accessible
the
interface to YouTube
platform.
is actually all we need.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much for that, Dave. We're going to check out the Brave browser for sure. Is DuckDuckGo, has it got a browser as well? Or
I think
an
so.
app as well?
Yeah, don't know. I'm
On
so
the
used
TV
to
the other day. There was an ad on the TV.
straight into Edge.
I know. That reminds me, actually.
Ooh.
Yes. Top tip. Thank you to Brandon on Mastodon for this one. I did say to him today on Mastodon that I would be mentioning him because he had come up with this amazing tip. If you use Edge, you probably know this, but if you use Edge, you know how you use F6 to sort of tab between the various elements of the window so you can get into the content.
Toolbar, document, tabs. Yeah.
Did you know that if you do Control F6, takes you right into the content?
Oh, that is so interesting. No, I did not know that.
Neither did I.
I was talking to someone just the other day and I was saying it's Control F6 to navigate around. And they said, no, it's just F6. And I said, oh, perhaps I'm getting confused with another program. But perhaps that's why. Control F6 jumps you directly to it. That is such a good tip. So many times I get stuck in the tabs and I don't realize where I am. Yeah. Amazing. Thank you, Brandon.
That is, honestly, that is just fantastic. And, you know, there is a way of doing that in the Mac as well, which is basically just to, and you can only really do it by heading. That's the only way you can really do it is to just, you know, do VO. You can do it a couple of different ways. You can use the rotor, you can use the quick nav, you can use your numpad controller, or at the base level, you can use VO Command H, and it will just take you to the first heading on the page, and it'll skip over all the nonsense and jump straight into this. Because in the Safari browser, it's the same problem on the Mac.
Doesn't tab work? I'm sure I used to just tab when I got stuck in the toolbar.
No, you get stuck in other areas of the system when you start, because you're just tabbing around all the buttons in the toolbar then. Or not so much the toolbar, but perhaps the tabs or whatever else is open. So you end up lost in there and just trying to get to the basic. That was the first thing I often found with the web on the Mac was like, how do I just get into the website?
Yes.
You know, I'm not interested in all this garbage. And I kept going into my view settings and turning absolutely everything off, but I'd still get stuck
Well,
up
it's the
there.
same in Edge. If you just keep tabbing or arrowing down, you'll come out of the actual website and start going through the toolbar. So, well, just keep me locked in.
I know, exactly.
Anyway.
I know.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you for that,
Next
Dave.
up.
We will definitely check that out. Greg has been back in touch from Pennsylvania. Greg, he's back. And he's got some top apps. Following up on his last email.
Here are some apps I use in addition to those already mentioned by others. iOS. Talking Tuner, essential for any musician. Music Streamer allows me to stream music on my iPhone from my PC or network drive.
Ooh.
File Browser allows me to access files on my phone from any PC or network drive on the network. Windows. Daisy Book Generator. Create Daisy books from audio files. I also use Kurzweil K1000 to create text Daisy books, but I have had a license for decades and would not pay the current price for it today. Chord Pickout. Analyzes music files for the chord progression. Usable but not entirely accessible via screen reader. You can get the chord progression but not the timestamps or control music playback entirely. A candidate for an expert scripter to address. MP3 Tag. Fully accessible MP3 tag editor. Passera Free Audio Extractor. Convert audio files to any format or bitrate. DVD Audio Extractor. Rips audio DVDs. Pontes Media Downloader. Downloads audio from video from almost any website, as well as audio files from most websites. Also downloads full videos if you choose, and you have the option to convert to many formats. Accessible YouTube Downloader Pro. Similar to Pontes, but limited to YouTube, though a very easy-to-use interface. Kitchen Sink Games. A package of games for blind people from the late Jim Kitchen. Lots of games. I personally enjoy the football game. K-Chess. Play chess against the computer. Greg in Pennsylvania.
Oh, that's a fantastic list. Thank you, Greg.
I can't remember all those. There's so many of them.
I know. Thank goodness for the rewind button. No, that is so useful. I mean, there's so many in there I want to try it. But that music streamer one, I like the sound of that.
There was a few music-related ones there. Talking Tuner is fantastic, by the way. I've had that for years and years. It's the best one out there. You mentioned something about, you reacted when you mentioned something about downloading video before the accessible YouTube Downloader Pro.
Oh, Pontes.
Yeah. So have you used that one?
Oh yeah, that's a fantastic app. I always forget about that one, but yeah, I think there's a PC version and there's a Mac version. I think, at least it used to be. So I think you can get it on both platforms. I could be wrong; that may have changed. But I remember I tried it on the PC, as I'm sure you did, and you're using there, Greg. But it's a fantastic app for just exactly.
So you just paste in a URL and it downloads the video.
Totally accessible.
Wow, fantastic! I'll be trying that. How do you spell it? Any idea?
Pontes.
Oh, well done.
Pontes.
I thought I had you then. Okay, good.
Yes.
Thank you, Greg.
Okay. Thank you, Greg. Let's hear from Jenin.
Hi, Double Tappers. I want to give my opinion of the app of the week that I really enjoy. This is already a part of iOS, so no need to download it or anything. It is none other than Braille Screen Input.
Ta-da!
This little part of iOS has always been really fun for me to explore. In iOS 18, you don't even have to put it in your rotor. It can be activated by a simple double tap with 2 fingers, one at each end of the screen. Not only can you type in Braille with this tool, but with iOS 18 coming around the corner, you can actually enter commands with BSI. They have what is called Command Mode and Braille Entry Mode. This little tool has made it so easy for me to navigate and type on my phone. I used to get so jealous of people just tapping away on their screens really quickly, creating messages, emails, and whatever else. Now we can do that too. I really love this little tool. Please enjoy it with me. Thanks for reading. Jen.
Thank you, Jen. I've got to say, that is a fantastic tool and one I'm probably going to get into more because of iOS 18. And that is one feature I would upgrade for, actually.
Yeah, you're right. That is a huge
pretty cool
change,
feature.
a huge improvement. That command mode makes all the difference. You should check out the Shaun Randall demo that he did for us.
Yeah, and listen, I know I've been a bit slow on the website, but we're going to get a lot of this content up there so you can go off and listen to that independently of the show. But it is on the show as well. You can listen to that from our iOS 18 accessibility review. You can hear Shaun Randall going through all this. I just want a quick mention as well, because a lot of you are asking about chapter markers now, and we are doing our best to add them. We've decided we're going to do it because it was kind of requested on the YouTube side. And we thought, well, hi. And my takeaway from that conversation with the good people at AMI was, well, look, hang on a minute. If we're doing this for YouTube, why wouldn't we do it on the podcast? Yes. So I've changed my view on this. So yes, we're going to add chapter markers. We started doing it, and it kind of works on some apps, but not others. So a bit of a call out to you. If you're producing a podcast, if you're doing this kind of thing, how are you doing it? How are you making it possible to make these accessible across different devices? We've also had comments from people who use Victor Reader Stream and other devices that are, let's just say, not smartphones, and they're having challenges. They're able to hear the marks, they can hear the numbers and the various chapter markers there, but they can't access them to jump between chapters. So how is that possible? Is that possible? So that question back to you, and hopefully we can get an answer to that, and we can make this work, because I really want it to work if it can. I kind of changed my view on it a little bit, Shaun, because I thought, you know what, I get it that people who listen on AMI audio don't get the chance to skip, and I get that. But, we are a podcast as well. And I think ultimately there's a lot of people who could benefit from the content we do and may not want to listen to us rabble away all nonsense.
How dare they? No, look, in the new workflow that we're doing now for producing every episode, I'm listening back anyway, so it's no real hardship to add markers and timestamps for various sections. So I don't mind doing that whatsoever. But as you said, I'm just struggling to make it work in every app on audio on the podcast. So I need help with that.
So hang on, so you weren't listening through before?
Well, kind of. Skipping through a little bit.
I mean, it's hard, isn't it? It's hard enough doing it, never mind listening back. I get it. Okay, let's move on. Brian has been in touch. And listen, by the way, I should say, if you want to get involved with the App of the Week thing, or whatever we're going to call it, and it'll probably be called App of the Week for the rest of its life, but essentially, if you want to get involved and you want to send in some content and send in, even just like everyone else is doing, just sending in an email with your sort of top app and why you like it and love it, or a list of apps, whatever you want, get in touch with us. We'd love to hear from you on that, and we will, of course, air it through the course of the week. We're not putting it on a specific day or time.
Yeah.
We're just going to be rolling these out as we get them, because we get a lot of feedback, as you know, and we are working through it as quickly as we can. So if you've got a suggestion, drop it to us, feedback@doubletaponair.com, call 1-877-803-4567 and leave us a voicemail. Okay, let's move on, because we've got an email from Brian on the challenges of inserting USB-A devices, or sticks, or wires, or cables.
Hi, Steven, Shaun, Laura, and tappers everywhere. Here is a little tip for USB-A cables, and I believe this might work for all of us who have less than ideal sensitivity in our fingertips. The end of a female USB-A cable has a hole that is shaped like a rectangle, with 2 short sides and 2 longer sides. The 2 longer sides have different thicknesses. Take a fingernail and try to work it over one of the 2 longer edges of the rectangle. One side is much thicker than the other side. With this in mind, the thin side usually goes up to the ceiling on laptops and other larger devices, and the thicker side usually goes towards the ground. Obviously, the orientation of the target device matters, but often this holds true, where the thicker side goes towards the ground and the thin side goes up towards the ceiling. Finding which port on the laptop is another matter, and I found that using apps like Seeing AI, Envision AI, Be My Eyes and Ira Explorer can be used to take pictures from the side of my laptop and ask follow-up questions, aka interrogate the photos. And yes, I too long for future days of USB-C everywhere. From Brian Clark in Indianapolis.
Thank you, Brian.
Yep.
Good.
Very good.
Good hints. Yeah. Should also just mention, Microsoft have the adaptive accessories as well, and they have they make it for the Surface. Actually, there's an amount of, let's just say, almost like bump-ons, but stickers that you can put onto your computer to make you aware of what the individual things are. What the individual ports are for.
Does it matter? Just try it and see.
Okay, fine.
I think we should have some sort of, announcement there saying, please don't try that at home. But how many times...
Stick anything into anything, see what happens.
How many times have you put a USB in an HDMI or whatever?
Oh, all the time.
time.
I said that to you the other day. I was trying it on my Mac Mini. I was trying to put an HDMI USB in, and I'm thinking, why is it going in both ways?
So easily.
That's not right.
Yes, that's right.
What's going on? As I'm destroying an HDMI port.
Be careful. Yes, there is a way. You're absolutely right. You can feel with your fingernail inside. I do it for the USB plug that I'm plugging in. You can tell which way around it should go. But sometimes the ports are upside down. It's not always the thinner side up to the ceiling on certain devices.
Do you know, I kind of wish that they had brought out the USB-C as the size of a USB-A. Because
Really?
One thing I can't, because the problem I have is, so I go to the MacBook, for example, and of course it's all very beautiful and all very flush and all very lovely. But then you run your finger along, you find the port, and then I don't know how you do this, but I kind of take the plug almost up to my fingernail that's on the port, and then I try and take my finger away to just sort of drop or push the USB in.
Yeah.
But of course, inevitably it moves. And so you're like trying to find, it's like, it's so fiddly. And I think if this could just be a bit bigger, I mean, I know they're not going to change it for me, but
Why not?
I think there should be, I think there should be a large version just for us.
No, there shouldn't. They brought around the micro USB for exactly that reason, for things like earbuds, headphones, because they simply couldn't fit the USB-A size port on there. So
that's right.
USB-C is the best of both worlds.
It is a lot easier because you don't have to worry about the way you put it in, upside down, so it doesn't matter.
Thing. Yeah.
But it's just, it can be a bit fiddly. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's the same. I find this with all of them, though. I mean, my Mantis Q40 is the same because I have a case on it. And you'd think that would make it easier because it kind of puts almost like a guide around the port. Because you've got this
that's right. Yeah.
case around it.
It's like a guide,
But the thing is, it's so thick that you're trying to get your finger into this thing to find it. The problem is, maybe I'm using the finger. That's the problem. I should just be, like you would do probably,
Lick
just
it.
jam the cable in.
Oh.
Oh, stop that nonsense.
You lick it. Okay, whatever.
Do not lick your Mantis Q40. It's just
There's
going
an
to end in
episode
badness.
title.
Yeah, there's the title right there. It's also a legal requirement from AMI's lawyers.
dear.
So they're going to be listening. You're going to wake them up.
Sorry.
You're going to wake them up with that nonsense. Okay. Thank you very much for that one, Brian. Camille's been in touch about demo downloads.
The Celeste demo was too great not to share, but here is the issue. My friend has a full-time job and a toddler to look after, therefore would not take an hour from her busy day to listen to Double Tap. Would it be possible to have the audio file available for download? Thanks and happy tapping, Camille.
How dare you, Camille? Are you not telling me that a person with a child would want anything but just not to listen to the child cry for 5 minutes? I think that is what Double Tap is for, isn't it?
The Celeste demo in that particular episode starts at 31 minutes. If you want to jump forward, I can't remember the episode number. No, the reason I know that
It's in there somewhere.
is because so many people have asked me for it. And I've had to just share the episode and say, just jump to 31 minutes. As you said earlier, Stephen, we will get that up on the website.
Yeah, we will.
And you know
we're
what?
going to put the full version
It's
up
my
as well.
fault because I'm leaving this all to Stephen to do. And
I know.
Yes, I am very sorry. I will try and figure out if I can do it as well.
I'll be honest. It's just it's one of those things, isn't it? Where you have all these great things you want to do.
Yeah.
But then, there's only so, as disabled people, we will say this, there are only so many spoons in the day.
Yes.
And if you're disabled, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not disabled, well, look, but basically that means we just get exhausted so easily with everything else. So yeah, we will definitely try and get the website up to date and get all that stuff on there. You can, of course, remember to go to watch the show there every day. That is something which, thank goodness, is automated, so we don't have to do anything there, which is why it works. But and a huge thanks to Marco Flalo for helping us set that one up, because that's brilliant. Now we have the ability, you can just go, if you don't want to deal with the YouTube website, you can still watch the show from YouTube, but you just watch it on our website. Go to doubletaponair.com. You'll also get our article we've just posted recently on our take on iOS 18, which will give you a full list of all the big updates that are coming. I mean, not as in-depth as perhaps some might go, but we're giving you the headlines on a lot of the cool features that are coming.
Yeah.
A lot of iOS 18, a lot of the updates that are coming will be pretty much as like most things with iOS and Apple and everything else. It's a journey of discovery.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You'll find it as you go.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to Leannda. Did I get her name right? Because remember, she was suggesting I might not get her name right. Well, let's find out.
Hi, loving the names of the plant, and you did pronounce my name right. Thanks as usual for a great show. From Leannda Ward.
Thank you, Leannda. I'm glad I got it right for you. There you go.
That was the shortest email ever, but thank you very much. You got the name right, Stephen. Well done. You should be very proud.
I'm a hero. Graham's been in touch.
Hi, guys. I have a general question. I hear about the Celeste and the Rayban glasses on your show, but there's never any mention of the minimum hardware requirement of the iPhone to use these glasses. And I just wondered whether there are some limitations. I use an iPhone SE 3. The other question I have concerns Orcam. I realise the devices will still work even though Orcam is no longer supporting them, but the problem is what happens when the batteries need replacement on these devices. Graham Langford, Toronto, Ontario.
Thank you, Graham. On the Orcam question, I think we just don't know the answer to any of that at the moment because Orcam are being silent. So we have no idea as to what's going on. I would say, though, if you are a customer, Orcam is not going away. The company are still around. So, I think they would be aware of and able to support you. That would be just my assumption.
Yes.
Purely because I have no facts to base that on. No. But the only fact I do have is they are still around. They're not going anywhere. That we do know. So, whether they're moving into new areas or not, or whether it's moving to distribution model, maybe you have to go through a distributor, I don't know. Because for the 5th time, I think I've said on this show, Orcam have said nothing on any of this. And even customers are telling us that they're not getting response. So I can't tell you any more than that, Graham. But I certainly hope for all the Orcam users' sakes that they will continue to get support. And I don't really have a reason to imagine not, because worst case scenario, go to your local distributor who sells Orcam, speak to them, and perhaps they will have a connection to be able to solve your issues if you have any. So that's where I'd leave it there. On the the metas, and that's an interesting question. Are there any hardware requirements?
Don't throw it to me
these?
because I have no idea. It's such a good question I didn't even think about. Now, I'm assuming there's the usual, if you're running a very old version or model of iPhone that, certain apps won't run anyway. But I don't know if there's any technical limitations as to the performance you need. I don't know. We'll look into that. But I think you'll be fine with the iPhone SE3.
I think it's time to get Shub Mittel from Celeste back on, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Why not?
Let's ask Shub.
Okay.
Listen, thank you so much for your emails. Thank you for your contributions. If you've sent one in recently and you're thinking, why haven't they read it out yet? Why haven't they played it in? I promise you, it is coming. We are working through them as we speak.
We're drowning in your feedback, and we love it.
so much feedback from you. Yeah, thank you so much for it. We're back tomorrow with more. Shaun, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.